They called him the King of Seoul's underground. Kang Taemin, 35 years old, 6 feet 2 inches of calculated danger wrapped in Tom Ford suits and silence that could stop hearts. When he walked into a room, oxygen left with him. When he spoke, empires listened. When he decided someone's fate, there was no appeal, no mercy, only execution. He controlled Seoul's luxury underworld like a master controls a chessboard. Diamonds smuggled through legitimate channels, real estate portfolios worth billions, politicians who owed him favors they could never repay. His company, Kang Industries, looked pristine on paper, luxury imports, high-end real estate development, charitable foundations. But underneath, a network so intricate, so untouchable, that even Korea's National Police Anti-Corruption Unit couldn't find a thread to pull. He was ice. He was steel. He was untouchable. And he had one weakness. Her name was Nia Thompson, 28 years old, African American, born in Atlanta, raised on survival and silence. She'd been his wife for 18 months, a contract marriage that started as strategy and became something neither of them planned for. But here's what nobody knew, what even Taemin didn't know until it was too late. 3 years ago, Nia Thompson was homeless, pregnant, abandoned by the man she loved. She lost everything, her home, her savings, her baby girl at 6 months because stress and starvation don't care about hope. She was 25 and broken in ways that don't show on x-rays. Then she met Kang Taemin, and he offered her something no one else ever had, protection. The past doesn't stay buried. It was a Tuesday afternoon. Lot World Mall, luxury shopping district in the heart of Gangnam. Nia was there for a charity event. Taemin's company was sponsoring children's hospitals, good optics, necessary appearances. She was wearing a cream Chanel suit, hair natural, elegant, pulled back in a low bun. Diamond bracelet on her wrist, a gift from Taemin on their first anniversary. She looked expensive, untouchable, powerful. She was browsing a watch boutique when she heard a voice from her nightmares. "Excuse me, you're in my way," Marcus Chen, her ex, the man who destroyed her. He was there with his fiancée, a wealthy white woman dripping in privilege and daddy's money. He didn't recognize Nia at first. She'd changed too much, gained healthy weight, glowed with the kind of confidence money and safety provide. But then he looked closer, and he saw her. What happened in the next 60 seconds was caught on 4 security cameras. Marcus laughed, mocked her, called her a gold digger, a liar, a desperate nobody who tried to trap him with a fake pregnancy. And then, in front of 20 witnesses, in front of cameras, in front of the 2 security guards assigned to protect me, he shoved her hard. She fell, hit the marble floor. Her bracelet skittered across the tile. The crowd gasped. Marcus walked away laughing, arm around his fiancée, thinking he'd won. He had no idea. Because 15 blocks away, Kang Taemin's phone buzzed with an alert from his head of security. And when Kang Taemin loved you, he became the wrath of God. What happened in the next 72 hours didn't just destroy Marcus Chen. It rewrote the rules of revenge. This isn't a love story, it's a reckoning. And it started 18 months ago, on the night Nia Thompson stopped being a victim and became a queen. Seoul, Gangnam District, the Kang family compound. If you didn't know what you were looking at, you'd think it was just another luxury estate. Modern architecture, black marble gates, perfectly manicured gardens with stone lanterns and koi ponds. But look closer. The gardeners, former military, the delivery drivers, armed. The traditional Korean gates, bulletproof reinforced steel disguised as wood. Every entrance monitored, every window one-way glass, every room swept for surveillance devices twice daily. This wasn't a home, it was a fortress. And at the center of it, 7 floors of minimalist luxury, lived Kang Taemin. The main house was a study in controlled power, black and white aesthetic. Marble floors so polished you could see your sins reflected back. Art worth millions on walls that doubled as panic room entrances. Temperature always controlled. Cold like Taemin's reputation. A silence enforced not by rules, but by fear. The top floor belonged to Taemin and Nia. Their suite was larger than most people's homes, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Seoul. A bedroom that felt like a 5-star hotel. A bathroom with a soaking tub carved from single piece of stone. And a private study where Taemin conducted business he didn't want even his... Nia had her own space too, a library Taemin had built for her 3 months into their marriage. Shelves filled with books in English, Korean, French. A reading chair by the window. A desk where she taught herself Korean using online courses and sheer determination. She'd arrived in soul broken, soul broken. Now she moved through Taemin's world like she belonged there. Because she did. Taemin's empire ran on three pillars: fear, respect, and information. His right hand was Jinwoo, 42, former ROK Army Special Forces, loyal since the day Taemin saved his life during a deal gone wrong. He didn't ask questions. He executed orders with surgical precision. His financial strategist was Director Choi, 50, cold, brilliant, ruthless. He made money appear, disappear, multiply through offshore accounts and shell corporations so complex even forensic accountants got lost. His security chief was Sergeant Han, 38, ex-military police, built like a tank, spoke three languages, could kill you with a pen. He personally vetted every person who came within 100 feet of the compound. Taemin's enemies, the Song family, old money, old grudges, territorial about Seoul's underground. Korean National Police Anti-Corruption Unit, always watching, never catching. Rival Chinese syndicates trying to push into Korean markets. But Taemin's greatest strength wasn't muscle or money, it was patience. He watched. He moved only when victory was guaranteed. And 18 months ago, he'd made a move that surprised everyone, including himself. He married Nia Thompson. It happened at a business conference, International Luxury Trade Summit, Seoul Convention Center. Taemin was there scouting American distributors for his legitimate import business. Nia was there as a last-minute translator. Her agency had sent her, desperate for work, barely holding herself together after 2 years of rebuilding from rock bottom. She taught herself Korean online, spent every spare dollar on language apps and grammar books, because she'd learned something in those dark months. Skills were currency, and she'd damn well make herself valuable. Taemin noticed her during a presentation. She was translating for a Texas-based diamond dealer, and she was good, not just fluent, but nuanced. She understood context, tone, cultural subtleties. After the session, he approached her. "You're American." She'd looked up this impossibly handsome, cold-eyed Korean man in a suit that cost more than her rent. "Yes. Your Korean is excellent. Where did you study?" "Online. Self-taught." His eyebrow raised, impressed. "I'm looking for someone who can manage English-speaking clients. International relations, public appearances. Are you interested?" No, should have felt the danger radiating off him like heat from asphalt, but she was desperate. And desperation makes you brave. What's the position makes you brave? Wife? She'd laughed, thought he was joking. He wasn't, thought he was joking. "I need someone who understands both cultures. Someone intelligent. Someone who won't ask questions about my business. It's a contract. 3 years, you'll live in luxury, want for nothing, and at the end, you'll have enough money to start whatever life you want. All I ask is loyalty, discretion, and public appearances as needed." "Why me?" "Because you're hungry. Hunger makes people reliable. Desperation makes them loyal." He wasn't wrong. She'd signed the contract that night, moved into the compound 3 days later, and for the first 6 months, it was exactly what he'd promised, a transaction. He was polite, distant, professional. She played her role. They attended galas, doing charity events, business dinners. She smiled, spoke perfect Korean, made him look softer, more legitimate. But somewhere around month 7, something shifted. He started asking about her day, bringing her coffee in the mornings, sitting with her in the library while she read. She started noticing the way he protected her, subtle things, how he positioned himself between her and strangers, how his hand would rest on her lower back in crowds, how his jaw would tighten when men looked at her too long. By month 12, they weren't pretending anymore. And by month 18, Kang Taemin had done something he swore he'd never do. He fell in love with his contract wife, but he didn't know her past, didn't know about Marcus, didn't know about the baby, Evie, didn't know that the polished, elegant woman he'd come to love had once been so broken she'd considered not existing anymore. He didn't know. Until a Tuesday afternoon at Lot World Mall, when her past walked up to her, spit in her face, and shoved her to the ground. And then Kang Taemin knew everything, and Seoul's Underground was about to learn why you never ever hurt what belonged to the king. Lot World Mall, 2:47 p.m. Nia moved through the luxury watch boutique with practiced grace. The charity event was in 2 hours. She had time to browse, maybe buy Taemin a gift for their upcoming anniversary. Her security detail, 2 of Jinwoo's men in civilian clothes, flanked her at a discreet distance. Standard protocol. She barely noticed them anymore. She was examining a limited edition Patek Philippe when she heard it. That voice. "Excuse me, you're in my way." Her spine locked, her breath caught. She turned slowly. Marcus Chen, 33 now, still handsome in that generic finance bro way. Expensive suit, styled hair, confident smirk. He had his arm around a blonde woman in designer everything. Claire Bennett, based on the size of that engagement ring. Marcus didn't recognize her immediately. His eyes scanned, his head tilted. Nia? Her voice came out steady, controlled. Marcus. His face split into a grin, cruel, delighted. Holy shit, it is you. What are you doing here? Did you finally get a job cleaning these stores? Claire, his fiancée, giggled. Oh my god, babe. Is this the ex you told me about? The crazy one. His security guards tensed. One touched his earpiece. She kept her voice level. I'm shopping, Marcus, like everyone else. Shopping? He laughed louder now, drawing attention. With what money? Last time I saw you, you were literally begging me not to leave. To leave. What'd you do? Find some sugar daddy desperate enough to? Marcus, her voice was ice. Move on. But he stepped closer, too close. No, seriously, Nia. I'm curious. How'd you afford that suit, that jewelry? Did you finally figure out what you're good for? Claire snorted. She looks expensive, babe. Maybe she got lucky. Mia's hands trembled. She clenched them into fists. Her security guard spoke in Korean. Ma'am, we should leave. She nodded, started to turn. Marcus grabbed her wrist. Hard. Her wrist, hard. Don't walk away from me. You owe me an apology for trying to trap me with that fake pregnancy bullshit. The boutique went silent. Mia's voice dropped to a whisper. Let go. Go. Or what? Marcus sneered. You gonna cry? Run to whatever old man is paying for you now? You were nothing then, and you're nothing now. She yanked her wrist free. I was 6 months pregnant, Marcus. With your daughter. I lost her because you left me homeless and starving. So don't you dare. Oh, here we go. He threw his hands up theatrically. The sob story. You were never pregnant? You lied to trap me, and when I called your bluff, I held her body, Mia said, voice breaking, for 10 minutes. Before they took her away. Her name was going to be Lily. The crowd was frozen. Marcus's face twisted with rage. You're insane. Claire, let's go. I'm not dealing with this psycho. Nia exhaled, shaking. Then Marcus spun back around. And in front of 20 witnesses, in front of 4 security cameras, in front of Nia's protection detail, he shoved her hard enough that she stumbled backward, heel sliding on marble. She fell, seating on marble. She fell. Hit the ground. Pain shot through her hip, her elbow. Her diamond bracelet, Taemin's gift, clattered across the floor. The crowd gasped. Her security guards moved instantly. One helped her up. The other stepped between her and Marcus, hand moving toward his concealed weapon. Marcus laughed. She's fine, drama queen, just like always. Claire looped her arm through his. Come on, babe. Let's get out of here before she makes a scene. They walked away. Nia stood there, shaking, held upright by Jinwoo's man. The guard spoke rapidly into his earpiece in Korean. Code red. My wife has been assaulted. The room froze. Taemin was already moving toward the door. Jinwoo, everything. Now, Jinwoo met him in the hallway, tablet in hand. Sir, I've pulled the security footage. Mall cameras caught everything. I'm running facial recognition on the subject now. Mrs. Kang is en route to the compound. She's physically unharmed, but what? Shaken, won't speak, just asked to go home. Taemin's jaw clenched. The man who touched her. Who is he? Working on it. Give me 20 minutes. You have 10. Taemin reached the compound before Nia. He stood in their sweet hands in his pockets, staring out at Seoul, forcing himself to breathe. Control. He'd built an empire on control. But the image Jinwoo had sent him, Nia on the ground, bracelet scattered, that man walking away laughing, control was slipping. The door opened. Nia entered. She looked small, smaller than he'd ever seen her. She saw him and stopped. He didn't turn. Didn't trust himself to move yet. Are you hurt? His voice was too calm, dangerously calm. I'm fine. That's not what I asked. Taemin, who is Marcus Chen? She froze. He turned then, looked at her. Jinwoo is running his background now, but I'm asking you. Who is he? She closed her eyes, exhaled. And for the first time in 18 months of marriage, Nia Thompson told her husband the truth. All of it. She told him about meeting him in LA when she was 24. How charming he'd been, how he'd promised her a future marriage stability partnership. She told him about the pregnancy, how Marcus's face had changed when she showed him the test, how he'd accused her of lying, of trapping him, of trying to ruin his career. She told him about the $8,000 in their joint account, their savings, and how she'd woken up one morning to find it gone. Marcus gone, a note on the table. Don't contact me. I've moved to New York for a better opportunity. You're not my responsibility. She told him about the bleeding that started at 4 a.m. on a Tuesday, the pain, the terror, the ambulance ride, the hospital room, the doctor's face. I'm sorry, Miss Thompson. There's no heartbeat. She told him about holding Lily, 6 months, 2 weeks, so small, so perfect, So small, so perfect. Fingers like flower petals, face peaceful, gone. She told him about the $12,000 hospital bill she couldn't pay, the debt collectors, the destroyed credit, the next 6 months sleeping in a women's shelter, working 3 part-time jobs, saving every dollar to get to Korea because she'd read online that English teachers could make decent money. She told him about learning Korean alone in a library because she couldn't afford classes, about arriving in Seoul with $300 in a dream, about the translation agency that gave her a chance, about meeting him, about thinking for the first time in 2 years that maybe she could survive. When she finished, Teeman hadn't moved. He stood by the window, back to her, hands in pockets. The silence stretched so long she thought he'd ask her to leave. Then he spoke. His voice was soft, lethal. Why didn't you tell me? Because it was my shame, my failure. I didn't want you to see me as broken. You're not broken. I was, he turned then. His eyes were black fire. You survived. You learned a language. You rebuilt yourself from nothing. You walked into my world and mastered it in 18 months. That's not broken, Nia. That's unbreakable. Her throat tightened. And Marcus Chen? Teeman's voice dropped. He will pay for every second you suffered. And before she could respond, Jinwoo knocked and entered. Sir, full background. He handed Teeman a tablet. Marcus Chen, 33. Financial analyst at Sterling Investments, a mid-tier firm with branches in New York and Seoul. Currently in Seoul visiting his fiancée, Claire Bennett, daughter of Richard Bennett, CEO of Bennett Technologies, worth $500 million. Marcus was in town for 2 weeks, staying at the Shilla Hotel. Social media showed him posting photos at luxury restaurants, clubs, galas. 3 days ago, he'd posted, ran into a broke ex at the mall today. Dodged a major bullet. Grateful hash upgrade complete. The post had 847 likes. Teeman read it. Didn't blink. Handed the tablet back. I want everything. His employer, his finances, his fiance's family, every debt, every connection, every skeleton. I want him mapped. Time frame, 24 hours. Sir, that's not a request. Jinwoo nodded. Understood. He left. Teeman turned to Nia. Marcus humiliated you publicly. Will return the favor, turd. But legally, strategically, he'll lose everything and never know how until it's too late. Teeman, you don't have to. He crossed to her, took her face in his hands. Yes, I do. You're my wife, not on paper, not for optics. You're mine. And he put his hands on you. That's not negotiable. That's not negotiable. Her eyes filled. Why do you care? His voice cracked just slightly. Because I love you. I should have said it months ago, but I've been afraid you'd leave when the contract ended. Afraid I'd lose you. But I can't pretend anymore. I love you, Nia, and I will burn down anyone who hurts you. She kissed him then? Not a performance. Not for show. Real. When they pulled apart, she whispered, destroy him. Teeman smiled. Cold, sharp. Already done. Jinwoo and his team worked through the night. By dawn, they had everything. Marcus Chen wasn't just a mid-level analyst. So he was over-leveraged, $85,000 in credit card debt, $200,000 in student loans, leasing a BMW he couldn't afford. His job performance at Sterling was mediocre at best. He'd been passed over for promotion twice. His relationship with Claire, her father, barely tolerated him. Richard Bennett had hired private investigators 6 months ago, concerned his daughter was dating a leak. The investigators' report sat in Richard's desk, unread. But Jinwoo now had a copy. Claire's father was in Seoul negotiating a $50 million partnership with a Korean for tech manufacturing. That conglomerate? Secretly owned by Kang Taemin through a web of shell corporation. Director Choi smiled when Jinwoo briefed him. This is almost too easy. Make the call, Jinwoo said. Choi called the conglomerate CEO, a man who owed Taemin his life. The Bennett deal, put it under review. Cite concerns about cultural alignment and representative conduct. Be vague. Stretch it out. Done. Phase 1, complete. That same morning, Marcus woke up to 17 missed calls. His boss, his landlord, his credit card company. He called his boss first. Marcus laughed. Thought it was a joke. What? Sterling just lost the Kim account. $15 million. They said it was due to personnel conduct concerns and specifically requested you be removed from any future dealing. The partners are furious. You're out. Security will meet you at the office to collect your badge. This is insane. I didn't do anything. Marcus, I don't care. It's done. Check your email for severance details. The line went dead. Marcus stared at his phone. Then it rang again. Claire. Marcus, what the fuck did you do? What are you talking about? My father's deal in Seoul just fell through. $50 million gone. And the Korean company cited concerns about representative conduct. My dad is blaming me. And I told him about you being here. And now he's saying it's your fault. He wants you gone, Marcus. Out of my life. Now, Claire, baby, wait, don't baby me. I looked you up. You're broke. You lied about your finances. You lied about everything. Who told you? It doesn't matter. We're done. Lose my number. She hung up. Marcus's hands shook. His phone buzzed. Bank notification. Your accounts have been flagged for suspicious activity and temporarily frozen pending IRS audit. Another buzz. Email from his landlord. Lease violation notice. Eviction proceedings initiated due to Clause 14B. Undisclosed financial liabilities. He hadn't even known there was a Clause 14B. His phone rang again. Unknown number. He answered. Hello, Mr. Chen? This is Jin Woo. I work for someone you recently offended. You're invited to a meeting. A car will pick you up in 30 minutes. I suggest you come quietly. Who the hell are you? I'm not going anywhere. Chen, in the last 4 hours, you've lost your job, your fiancé, your housing, and your financial security. You can come talk, or we can make the next 48 hours even more uncomfortable. Your choice. The line went dead. Marcus sat on his hotel bed, surrounded by the wreckage of his life, and for the first time, he felt afraid. The car that picked up Marcus was a black Mercedes S-Class. 2 men in suits. No conversation. They drove through Seoul in silence. Marcus tried asking questions, tried demanding answers. They ignored him. 30 minutes later, they pulled up to gates that looked like something out of a movie. Black marble, traditional Korean architecture, guards everywhere, the King compound. Marcus was escorted inside, through a foyer with floors so polished they looked wet. They looked wet. Past guards who watched him like wolves watch prey. Up an elevator, down a hallway, to an office. The doors open. Kang Taemin sat behind a massive black desk. Floor-to-ceiling windows behind him showed all of Seoul. He wore a black suit, white shirt, no tie. His hands were folded on the desk. He didn't stand when Marcus entered. Jinwoo closed the doors behind them. Marcus swallowed. Who are you? Taemin's voice was soft and trolled. Sit. Marcus sat. Taemin studied him for a long moment, like a scientist examining bacteria. Then he spoke. 3 days ago, at Lot World Mall, you assaulted a woman, pushed her to the ground, walked away laughing. Marcus's stomach dropped. That was just, she was my ex and she was lying about, she's my wife. The room tilted. Marcus's mouth opened, closed. Your wife. Her name is Nia Thompson, legally Nia King, and you put your hands on her. I didn't know. I swear I didn't. You didn't know because you never bothered to find out what happened to her after you destroyed her life. A door opened on the side of the office. Nia stepped out. Marcus's face went white. She was wearing a black dress. Simple, elegant. Her hair was down. She looked expensive, untouchable. She looked powerful. Hello, Marcus. He stared. Nia, you're married too. She crossed the room, stood beside Taemin's desk. Yes, but you were nobody. You were broke. You were abandoned by you, she finished. Left homeless, lost our daughter, nearly died. Yes, I was all of those things because of you. That baby wasn't, her name was Lily. Nia's voice was ice. She was 26 weeks old when I held her body. I have the death certificate. Want to see it? Marcus looked at Taemin, back at Nia, panic rising. I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry. But I was young and scared, and now you're old and scared, Taemin said. So let me explain what's happened to you in the last 72 hours. He slid a document across the desk. Your job, gone because I own 40% of Sterling's parent company through a subsidiary. One phone call. Done. Marcus's hands shook as he picked up the paper. Your fiancé's father's deal? Dead because I control the Korean conglomerate he was negotiating with. $50 million. Evaporated. Another document. Marcus's eyes scanned it. And your bank accounts. Frozen due to an IRS audit I triggered through. Let's call them financial irregularities you didn't know you had. Legal. Thorough. Painful. This is insane. You can't. Your apartment evicted. I bought the building this morning. You're in violation of lease terms. Security will remove your belongings tomorrow. Taemin leaned. In 72 hours, Mr. Chen, I've erased your life. Legally. Quietly. Completely. And I did it without breaking a single law. Turned to Nia, desperate. You can't let him do this. After everything we had nothing, Nia said. You took everything I had. He's just returning the favor. I'll sue. I'll go to the police. Taemin's laugh was soft, chilling. Go ahead. Tell the Korean National Police that Kang Taemin destroyed you. See what happens. They've been trying to touch me for 15 years. You think they'll help you? Marcus's face crumbled. Why? Why are you doing this? Taemin stood, walked around the desk, stopped in front of Marcus. Because she's mine, and you hurt her. That's all the reason I need. He pulled a contract from his jacket. placed it on the desk. But I'm not without mercy. You have two options. Marcus looked at the paper. Option 1, you leave Korea tonight. Delete every post, every comment about Nia. You issue a public apology on your social media for misunderstanding and regrettable behavior. You never contact her again, never speak her name, never come within 1,000 miles of her. In return, I'll unfreeze one account, $20,000. Enough to start over, somewhere far away. And option 2, Hyman's smile was death. I stopped being nice. Marcus's hand shook as he picked up the pen. He looked at Nia one last time. I really am sorry. She said nothing. He signed. Jinwoo took the contract. Your flight leaves at midnight. The car will take you to the hotel to pack. You have 4 hours. Marcus stood on shaking legs, looked at Taemin, at Nia. She was never good enough for me anyway. He muttered. Taemin moved so fast Marcus didn't see it coming. One hand on Marcus's throat, slammed him against the wall. Say that again? I'm sorry. Taemin held him there for 5 seconds, 10, then released him. Get out of my country. Jinwoo escorted Marcus out. The doors closed. Silence. Nia exhaled, realized she'd been holding her breath. Taemin turned to her. You all right? I don't know. I thought I'd feel vindicated, but I just feel empty. He crossed to her, pulled her close. That's because revenge doesn't heal. It just closes doors. The healing comes after. She looked up at him. Thank you. You don't need to thank me. This is what I do. No, not for destroying him. For listening. For seeing me. For being here. He kissed her forehead. Always. But across town, in a luxury hotel suite, someone else was watching the security footage from Lot World Mall. Songmin, leader of the Song family syndicate. He rewound the video. Watched Nia fall. Watched Marcus walk away. To Marcus walk away. Watched Kang Taemin's men escort Nia to safety. He smiled. So the king has a weakness after all. He picked up his phone, dialed. It's time. Move on Kang Industries and keep an eye on the woman. She's the key. The game had changed, and the storm was just beginning. Late that night, the compound was silent. Nia stood on the balcony of their suite, wrapped in a blanket, staring at Seoul's lights. She couldn't stop her mind from replaying the last 72 hours. Marcus's face when he realized who she'd become, the fear in his eyes, the signature on the contract. It should have felt like victory. So why did it feel like she was still falling? The door opened behind her. Taemin stepped out, 2 glasses of wine in hand. He handed her one, stood beside her, didn't speak. They stood in silence for long minutes. Finally, Nia asked, do you think I'm like you now? What do you mean? Cold, vengeful, someone who destroys people without blinking. Taemin considered, do you think you destroyed Marcus? You did. For me, no. I held him accountable. There's a difference. He sipped his wine, tray. Revenge is when you take more than was taken from you. Justice is when you balance the scales. Marcus took your home, your savings, your child, your dignity. I took his job, his relationship, his money, his comfort. I didn't take his life. I didn't take his future. I gave him a choice. That's not revenge. That's consequence. Nia turned to him. How do you live with it? The power, the control, the fear. His eyes were distant. I don't live with it. I carry it, like you carry Lily. She flinched. He set his glass down. I've never told you about my family. You said they died when you were 19. They did, but I never told you how. He leaned on the railing, looked out at the city he controlled. I was at university, Seoul National University. Engineering major. I was going to be legitimate, build things, design things. My father, he was in this business, not by choice really. His father forced him into it. Generational obligation, but he was trying to get out, transition to legal operations, real estate development, legitimate imports. Taemin's jaw tightened. The Song family saw it as weakness, betrayal of the old ways. They attacked our home while I was at class. My father, my mother, my younger sister Minji, she was 12. They killed all of them, burned the house, made it look like an electrical fire. Nia's hand covered her mouth. I came home to ashes. The police said it was an accident, but I knew. I found evidence they'd missed. A cigarette that didn't match my parents' brand. Boot prints in the garden that were too large. I knew. What did you do? I dropped out of university. I learned my father's business in 6 months. I was relentless. Ruthless. I took every contact, every alliance, every debt, and I used them. By the time I was 23, I'd rebuilt the empire bigger than my father ever had. And by 25, I'd systematically destroyed every member of the Song family who'd been involved in the attack. His voice was hollow, empty. I didn't kill them, but I ruined them. Financially, socially, legally. I made them ghosts. And then I took their territory, their businesses, their legacy. I erased them. Do you regret it? No, but I don't celebrate it either. It was necessary, like cutting out a tumor. You don't regret it, but you don't throw a party. Nia stepped closer. Why are you telling me this? Because you asked if power makes you cold? It doesn't. Trauma makes you cold. Power just gives you the tools to protect yourself from being hurt again. He turned to her, touched her face. You're not cold, Nia. You're healing. And healing looks like strength because people don't understand the difference. Tears slid down her cheeks. I still think about her, Lily, every day. Tell me about her. What? You've carried her alone for 3 years. Let me carry some of it. So she told him about the ultrasound at 20 weeks where they found out it was a girl, about choosing the name Lily because it was her grandmother's name, about painting a nursery in her mind, yellow walls, white furniture, stuffed animals, about feeling her kick for the first time, about singing to her belly at night, about the hope, the pure, terrifying hope that maybe she could do this. Maybe she could be a mother. Maybe she could give this baby the love she'd never fully received. And then about the loss, the blood, the pain, the hospital. The silence where a heartbeat should have been, the 10 minutes she held Lily's body, so small, so perfect. Already gone, the empty arms, the empty nursery, the empty everything. I had to sign papers, Nia whispered. For her cremation, they asked if I wanted the ashes. I said no. I couldn't carry her in a box. So they kept her, and I left with nothing. Teeman pulled her into his arms. She sobbed into his chest. I'm so sorry, he murmured. I'm so sorry. Marcus never even asked, never said her name, never acknowledged she existed. I loved her so much, and she's just gone. She's not gone, Teeman said. She's with you, always, in every choice you make, in every moment you survive. Lily made you a mother. Death doesn't change that. Mia cried harder. And King Taemin, the king of souls underground, the man who destroyed empires, held her and let her break. Because sometimes the strongest thing you can do is let someone see you fall apart. And sometimes love isn't about fixing someone. It's about staying when they shatter. Hours later, 3 a.m. and 2 hours. Nia was asleep. Taemin sat in his study, staring at a file Jinwoo had left on his desk. Song Min-seok recent activity. Increased surveillance on Kang properties. Probing shipments, testing security. They were preparing something. Jinwoo entered. You should be asleep. So should you. So should you. The Song family is moving. I can feel it. Tima nodded. They saw the mall footage. They know Nia matters to me. They'll use that. Should we increase her security? Triple it, but quietly. I don't want her to feel like a prisoner. Understood. There's something else. Jinwoo pulled out a second file, handed it to Taemin, Director Choi, his accounts. He's been moving money to offshore locations, small amounts. Consistent. For 6 months. Taemin's eyes darkened. You think he's the leak. I think someone's paying him, and the timing matches the Song family's increased intelligence on our operation. Can you prove it? Give me a week. Taemin closed the file. You have 3 days. If he's betraying, the Songs make their move. Jinwoo nodded, left, sat in silence. Betrayal from within. Threats from without. And the woman he loved asleep in the next room, vulnerable in ways she didn't even know. He picked up his phone. Texted Jinwoo. Prepare contingency plans for Nia. If something happens to me, she gets everything. Liquid assets, property, protection. Document it legally. Jinwoo's reply came immediately. Already done. 6 months ago. Taemin almost smiled. Because even before he'd admitted he loved her, his body, his instincts, his empire had already claimed her as his. And now he'd make sure no one, not Marcus, not the Song family, not even death itself could take her from him. 5 days later, Saturday, 6 p.m., the Song family called for a meeting, neutral ground, an abandoned warehouse in Inshan, 40 minutes outside Seoul, old industrial district. No surveillance, no witnesses. Jinwoo advised against it. It's a trap, sir. They're baiting you. I know. Then why go? Because if I don't, they'll see it as weakness. And weakness invites war. I'd rather face them on my terms. Then you don't bring her. Taemin looked up from his desk. What? Nia, she can't come. It's too dangerous. Before Taemin could respond, Nia's voice came from the doorway. I'm coming. Both men turned. She stood there in black pants, a fitted jacket, hair pulled back. She looked calm, determined. Nia, I'm not a doll, Taemin. I'm your wife, your partner. And if they're coming after you because of me, then I face them too. This isn't your world. It became my world when I married you. She stepped forward. I've spent 3 years running from my past, hiding from confrontation. I'm done running. I'm done hiding. If they want to use me as leverage, they'll have to look me in the eye first. Taemin stared at her. Jinwoo glanced between them. Sir? Taemin exhaled. She comes, but she stays behind me. Understood? Nia nodded. And if anything goes wrong, anything, Jinwoo gets you out. You don't argue. You don't hesitate. You run. Clear? 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 The warehouse in Incheon. Rusted metal. Broken windows. Shadows everywhere. Taemin's car pulled up. Black Audi E8. Jinwoo driving, Sergeant Han in the passenger seat, Taemin and Nia in the back. 3 more cars followed. Security, 12 men total. The Song family was already there. 5 cars, 20 men. More than agreed upon. Jinwoo tensed. They're violating protocol. Noted. Proceed. They exited the car. Some men total. The Song family was already there. Taemin first, then Nia. Jinwoo and Sergeant Han flanked them. Song Min-seok stood in the center in Korean. Taemin answered in Korean. Nia understood every word. Kang Taemin, you've grown arrogant. Song Min-seok, you've grown desperate. Desperate. I have 20 men here. You have 12. Numbers don't mean victory. Strategy does. Laughed. Then his eyes landed on Nia. He switched to broken English. This is wife, the black woman. Pretty? How much you pay for her? Taemin's voice dropped to lethal. What? Your words. Min, step closer. She speak Korean, or just look pretty. Nia stepped forward. Spoke in fluent formal Korean, the kind used in business settings, respectful but firm. I speak 5 languages, Mr. Song. I also run strategic operations for King Industries. And I know you've been embezzling from your own family for 3 years. Offshore accounts in the Cayman Islands. $15 million. Should I tell your brothers, or should you walk away now? The warehouse went silent. Min-seok's face drained of color. Taemin glanced at Nia, surprised. She'd been studying the files. Min-seok's brothers, 2 of them, standing behind him, stepped forward. The younger one, Song Jae-hoon, spoke in Korean. Seung-young's this true? Min-seok stuttered. She's lying. She has no proof. Nia pulled a tablet from Jinwoo's bag, held it up. Screen showed bank statements, account numbers, transfers. Director Choi's work, delivered 3 days ago. $15,200,000, transferred over 36 months. Account registered under your daughter's name in California. Want me to forward this to your brothers or to the Korean tax authority? Min-seok's face twisted. You bitch. He pulled a gun, aimed at Nia. Everything happened in 2 seconds. Taemin moved, shoved Nia behind him. Jinwoo and Sergeant Han drew their weapons. Song Ji-hoon grabbed Min-seok's arm. Clone grabbed Min-seok's arm. Hyung no, but Min-seok shook him off. She humiliated me. I'll kill her. I'll kill them both. The other Song brother, older, pragmatic, stepped in, took the gun from Min-seok's hand. Hyung, enough. She's right. I've suspected for years. We all have. Ji-hoon nodded. You've been bleeding the family dry for your mistress, for your gambling debts, for your pride. Min-seok looked around. His own men were lowering their weapons. His brothers were turning on him. You're all traitors. I built this family. No, the older brother said. Father built this family. You've been destroying it. He turned to Taemin, bowed slightly. Kang SSI, we apologize for our brother's disrespect. We'll honor the old agreements. No more conflict, no more territorial disputes, and we'll handle him internally. Taemin nodded. Agreed. Min-seok spat on the ground. You're all weak. This isn't over. Ji-hoon's voice was cold. Yes, Hyung, it is. He gestured. 2 of their men grabbed him and dragged him toward the cars. He screamed threats, curses, promises of revenge, but no one listened. The Song family left. Taemin's men relaxed, holstered weapons. Who exhaled. That was unexpected. Taemin turned to Nia. Where did you learn about the embezzlement? Director Choi's files. I've been reading them for weeks, learning how the business works. I wanted to be useful. Useful, Taemin almost laughed. You just neutralized a war. I just told the truth. They did the rest. Sergeant Han grinned. Mrs. Kang is dangerous. I like it. But as they walked back to the cars, Jinwoo pulled Taemin aside. Sir, we have a problem. What? The offshore accounts Nia mentioned? Director Choi's files didn't have that information. What do you mean? I checked. The Cayman accounts are real. The Choi's files only had fragments. Someone else compiled the full evidence. Taemin's eyes narrowed. Who? Jinwoo handed him a USB drive. This was left in your office yesterday. No note, no sender, just this. Taemin took it. Run analysis. I want to know who sent it. But even as he said it, he had a sinking feeling because someone was playing chess and they just moved the pieces. The question was, were they an ally or a bigger threat than the Song family ever was? Back at the compound, 11 p.m. Nia stood in the shower, letting the hot water wash away the adrenaline. She'd faced them, stood her ground, survived. But her hands were still shaking. She dried off, changed into sleep clothes, walked into the bedroom. Taemin was at his desk staring at a computer screen. What is it? She asked. The USB drive. Someone sent me evidence on Song Min-seok. But they also sent something else. He turned the screen toward her. A video file, dated 3 years ago. Security footage from a hospital parking lot. Nia's breath caught. She recognized it. The night she lost Lily. The night she lost Lily. The night she'd walked out of the hospital empty and broken and sat in the parking lot for 4 hours because she had nowhere to go. The video showed her sitting on a curb, sobbing, alone. And then a car pulled up, a black sedan. A man got out, walked toward her. Taemin froze. Who was that? Nia leaned closer, squinted. The man's face came into focus. She gasped. That's Director Choi. Taemin's eyes went black. What? 3 years ago, he approached me in the parking lot. He said he worked for a charity that helped women in crisis. He gave me $500 cash, said it was no strings attached. He told me about the translation agency in Seoul, told me they hired English speakers. He gave his card. She turned to Taemin. He's the reason I came to Korea. Taemin stood. Paced. So Choi has known about you for 3 years. Before I met you, before we married. But why would he? Because someone told him to. Someone wanted you in my life. Nia's blood ran cold. Whose blood ran cold? Who? Taemin's phone rang. Jinwoo. Sir, Director Choi is gone. He emptied his office an hour ago. Left the country. Flight to Singapore. Find him. Sir, there's more. We traced the USB drive. It came from inside the compound. From Choi's computer. He sent it to himself. Like he wanted us to find out. Why would he expose himself? Because he's not the one pulling the strings. He's the messenger. Taemin hung up, looked at Nia. Someone has been orchestrating this. For 3 years, they put you in my path. They made sure we met. They wanted me to marry you. And now they're revealing themselves. But why? But why? Before he could answer, the lights went out. Emergency power kicked in. Red lights. An alarm blared. Sergeant Han's voice on the intercom. Compound breach. East gate. Multiple hostiles. Repeating. Compound breach. Taemin grabbed Nia's hand. We need to move now. Gunfire echoed through the compound. Taemin pulled Nia through the hallways. Jinwoo appeared, weapon drawn, leading them to the safe room. How many? Taemin asked. 15, maybe more. They knew our patrol schedules. This was planned. The Song family? No. Chinese triad marking. This is bigger than we thought. They reached the safe room, reinforced steel, biometric locks. Jinwoo scanned his hand. The door opened. Inside, monitors showing security feeds, weapons lockers, communication systems. Sergeant Han was already there, coordinating defense. We've got 8 guards holding the east perimeter, but they're outnumbered. We need to call in reinforcements. Taemin pulled up the security feeds, watched the attackers move through the compound with military precision. They're here to extract someone. Who? He looked at Nia. You. Her eyes widened. What? This whole thing, Marcus at the mall, the Song family meeting, Choi's betrayal, it was all to isolate you, to make you vulnerable. Someone wants you, Nia, and they've been planning this for years. But why? I'm nobody. I have nothing. You have me. His voice was steel. And I'm worth billions in money, in power, and leverage. Kidnap you and they control me. Jinwoo's phone buzzed. He answered, listened. His face went pale. Sir, we just received a message. They're offering a trade. What trade? Nia for you. You walk out, hands up, surrender yourself. They take you. They leave her in the compound untouched. Taemin didn't hesitate. Tell them yes. No, Nia grabbed his arm. You're not doing that. Doing that? I am. Taemin, listen to me. He took her face in his hand. I can survive captivity. I've survived worse, but I can't survive losing you. So I'm going out there, buying time for Jinwoo to call in, and you're staying here where you're safe. I'm not letting you trade your life for mine. You don't get a choice. She slapped him. The room went silent. Tears streamed down her face. You don't get to decide this alone. We're partners. You said so yourself. Taemin pulled her close, kissed her hard, desperately. When he pulled back, his voice cracked. I love you more than power, more than pride, more than my own life. So please, please let me do this. Nia sobbed into his chest. Jinwoo stepped forward. Sir, there's another option. What? We don't trade you. We eliminate them. But we need a distraction. Something big enough to give our men time to flank them. Sergeant Han pulled up a map of the compound. If we trigger the gas line explosion in the east wing, controlled, no casualties, it'll draw their attention. We can hit them from 3 sides while they're distracted. Taemin nodded. Do it. But I want Nia moved to the underground bunker. Now. Sir, the bunker's on the other side of the compound. We'd have to go through hostile territory. Then we fight our way through. Nia wiped her face. I can shoot. All 3 men looked at her. What? My uncle taught me. Basic handgun training. Self-defense shooting. I'm not expert, but I can hold my own. Taemin almost smiled. Of course you can. He opened the weapons locker, pulled out a Glock 19, handed it to her. Safety's here. Aim center mass. Don't hesitate. She checked the magazine, chambered around, and India chambered around. Held it like she'd done it before. Jinwoo whistled. Mrs. Kang is full of surprises. You have no idea, Nia muttered. The plan was simple, brutal. Sergeant Han would trigger the explosion. Jin Woo would lead a team to flank from the north. Teeman, Nia, and 4 guards would move through the south corridor to the bunker. Once she was secure, Teeman would coordinate the counterattack. On my mark, Sergeant Han said, finger on the detonator. 3, 2, 1, detonator. 3, 2, 1, boom. The east wing exploded. Fire, smoke, chaos. The attackers turned toward the explosion. Go, Jinwoo shouted. Teeman grabbed Nia's hand. They ran through smoke-filled hallways, over debris, past windows shattered by gunfire. They turned a corner. 3 attackers, blocking their path. Teeman's guards fired first. Dropped 2. Dropped 2. The third lunged at Teeman. Teeman blocked, disarmed him, delivered a brutal elbow strike. The man fell. Keep moving, Teeman shouted. They reached the stairwell to the bunker, started descending. Halfway down, footsteps above them. More attackers. Teeman pushed Nia forward. Go. Jinwoo's at the bottom. I'm not leaving you. You're not. I'm right behind you. Go. She ran. Reached the bottom. Jinwoo was there, opening the bunker door. Inside now, she turned, looked up the stairwell. Teeman was fighting 3 men, hand to hand. Brutal. Efficient. He dropped 1, 2. The third pulled a knife. Teeman Nia screamed. He turned. The knife came down. Bang. Nia's gunshot echoed through the stairwell. The attacker dropped, knife clattering. Teeman stared at Nia. She was holding the Glock, hands steady, smoke rising from the barrel. She'd shot past him, hit the attacker center mass. Perfect shot. He almost laughed. Remind me never to underestimate you. Too late. They reached the bunker. Jinwoo sealed the door behind them. Emergency lights flickered on. Monitors showed the compound. The fighting was turning. Teeman's men were winning. 15 minutes later, it was over. The attackers were dead or captured. The compound was secure, sat heavily in a chair. Nia beside him. You saved my life, he said quietly. You were going to trade yours for mine. I just evened the score. He looked at her. Blood on her jacket. Blood on her jacket. Smoke in her hair. Gun still in her hand. I love you, he said. I love you too. But don't you ever try to sacrifice yourself for me again. We survived together or not at all. He pulled her into his arms, kissed her, and in that underground bunker, surrounded by monitors and weapons in the aftermath of war, Nia and Teeman made a promise. No more running, no more fighting alone. They were partners in love, in war, in everything. 3 hours later, the compound was quiet. A residential facility in Seoul offering free housing, medical care, and job training for pregnant women in crisis. The opening gala was attended by politicians, celebrities, and media. Gave a speech in Korean, fluent, powerful. She told her story about Marcus, about homelessness, about losing Lily, about Teeman giving her a second chance. I can't bring my daughter back, she said, but I can honor her by making sure other women don't suffer like I did. Lily's house is for them. For every woman who's been abandoned, dismissed, forgotten, you matter. Your babies matter. Your babies matter. And we're here to help. The crowd stood, applauded. Teeman watched from the side, pride radiating from him. Jinwoo leaned over. You did good, boss. She did good. I just gave her the tools. That night, their sweet Nia was exhausted. Happy, fulfilled, she kicked off her heels. That was amazing as wine. Teeman poured champagne, handed her a glass. You were amazing. Watching you speak. I've never been more proud. They toasted, drank. Teeman set his glass down, pulled a small box from his pocket. We've been married for 2 years, but it started as a contract, as a strategy. He opened the box. A ring. Simple, elegant. Diamond solitaire. I want to do it again, for real this time. No contracts. No terms, just us. Will you marry me, Nia? Again? Again. She laughed through tears. We're already married. Not like this. And not with love. Will you? She kissed him. Yes. 1,000 times, yeah. He slipped the ring on her finger, kissed her hand, and in that moment, Nia Thompson, the woman who'd lost everything, rebuilt herself from ashes and found love in the most unlikely place, finally felt whole. 6 months later, Nia discovered she was pregnant. 8 weeks. She told Teeman on a Sunday morning in the library where they'd first started falling in love. He cried. Actually cried. Are you scared? He asked. Terrified? Me too. She took his hand, placed it on her stomach, but we'll do it together, like everything else. Together, he agreed. 9 months later, Kang Minji was born, 7 pounds 4 ounces. Healthy, perfect. Named after Teeman's sister, Lily's middle name, Lily Minji Kang, Teeman held her for the first time and whispered, I'll protect you forever. I promise. Nia watched, heartful. What are you thinking? Teeman asked. That I survived the worst thing that ever happened to me, and it led me here, to you, to her, to this life. Do you regret any of it? She thought. I don't regret the path, because it brought me home. She smiled. You're my home. 2 years later, Lily Minji King was 2 years old, bright, curious, loved. Lily's house had expanded to 3 locations across Seoul. Over 200 women had been helped, 30 babies born safe and healthy. Taemin had officially transitioned Kang Industries to legitimate operation. Real estate, tech investments, clean money. He still had power, still had influence, but the violence was gone. The Song family honored their peace agreement. Song Ji-hoon became leader after Min Seok disappeared. Rumor was he fled to Thailand, lived in obscurity, broken and forgotten. Director Choi was extradited from Singapore, served 8 years for espionage. Richard Bennett was sentenced to 12 years in federal prison for conspiracy, bribery, and attempted kidnapping. Marcus Chen disappeared from social media. Last anyone heard, he was working at a call center in Tampa, living paycheck to paycheck. Claire Bennett married a tech entrepreneur, moved to California, never spoke Marcus's name again. Seoul, Kang compound. A Sunday morning, Nia sat in the garden with Lily Minji on her lap. They were planting flowers by the memorial stone. "Who's that, Mommy?" Lily asked, pointing at the engraving. "That's your sister, Lily. She's in heaven. But we remember her. Can I talk to her?" "Of course, baby. You can tell her anything." Lily Minji pressed her tiny hand to the stone. "Hi, Lily. I'm your sister. Mommy says you're watching me. I love you." Nia's tears fell silently. Teeman walked up behind them, kissed Nia's head. "You okay?" "Yeah, I'm good." That evening, the 3 of them on the balcony, Soul glittering below, Lily Minji asleep in Teeman's arms. "Do you ever think about what would have happened if we hadn't met?" Nia asked. "I'd still be alone, cold, powerful, but empty. And I'd probably be, I don't know, still surviving, I guess." "You're more than a survivor, Nia. You're a warrior. So are you." He smiled. "We make a good team? The best." One final scene. A letter arrived. No return address. Inside, a single sentence. "I'm sorry. I'm sober now. I'm trying to be better. I hope you're happy." Nia read it. Should I respond? "Do you want to?" she thought. Then walked to the fireplace, dropped the letter in, watched it burn. "No, that chapter is closed. This is my life now. You, Lily Minji, our family, our future." Teeman kissed her. "I love you. I love you too." And as the letter turned to ash, Nia felt the last piece of her past release its grip. She was free. She was loved. She was home. Nia Thompson was abandoned, broken, and erased. But she didn't stay erased. She became fire. She became power. She became loved. And the man who destroyed her, he was forgotten, because revenge isn't about destroying your enemies. It's about building a life so beautiful they can't touch it. Nia built that life with Kang Taemin, a Lily Minji, with the women at Lily's house. She took her pain and turned it into purpose. And that's the greatest revenge of all. If you believe that survival is just the first step to victory, subscribe now and comment where you're watching from. This story isn't over. It's only just begun. And trust us, if what comes next, even more powerful.